Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. I'm really glad and excited that I'm here today as a keynote speaker, and we are going to talk about this topic. This is a very interesting and a very rare condition, and I will definitely share all of my vision and my knowledge about that. Before that, as you already explained, my name is Javaria Zahra. I'm a licensed psychologist. Working in this field for more than 15 years, and I'm a trainer and I'm a mental health professional. And why I said I am a gold medalist, because I've topped in my MS applied psychology. That I achieved distinction in research. I developed a learning disability scale to measure basic disabilities in learning cognitive skills. So I wanted to tell you that, why I'm working as a psychologist, because I think I'm a born psychologist. I love to support people, I love to help people, and I love to bring a positive change in their lives. So I always call myself I'm a born psychologist. So I'm really glad that today I've got an opportunity to come here and to meet you people and to talk to you people about this topic. I've got, I'll just introduce myself, my experience in this field a little bit, so that you can have, better understanding of my knowledge and my vision in the field of psychology. I have worked as a practitioner psychologist, as a clinical psychologist with hospital settings, with with clinical setups, with learning disability setups, and also I've got a amazing combination of teaching psychology in university and also practicing as a psychologist in hospital settings. So it's like a combination where you theoretically you learn how to implement all those practices into the private practice and or into the clinical practice. And also I was a supervisor of clinical psychology students, and we were preparing them for clinical settings, for clinical reports. So that was an amazing experience, and I taught to university students for 9 years, and I'm practicing as a psychologist for more than 15 years. And I'm in Dubai for more than 6 years. So it's another amazing experience, that dealing with people from different cultural backgrounds is super amazing. So today we are going to talk about selective mutism. Selective mutism is a very rare condition. It's a condition where a child is reluctant to speak in certain situations. The child is able to speak. There is no speech disorder. There is no communication disorder, but a child is reluctant or is hesitant and not feeling to talk to people in certain situations. This session is going to highlight how we can cope with this situation and how we can help our children and how we can help individuals struggling with selective mutism. This is kind of anxiety. It's a kind of a condition where a child feels anxiety while talking in different certain situations. So this session is going to help caregivers, and this topic is going to explain how to cope with this condition and how parents and caregivers can help and support their children. So I would like to share my screen also, so that you can see the PowerPoint presentation, just to see the little details, and then I will elaborate this topic to you. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Perfect. So we are going to talk about selective mutism, as I discussed earlier. So before going ahead, we will briefly discuss what is this condition, what is selective mutism, and then we will discuss how we can help and support individuals struggling with this condition, because this is really important to know the strategies and know the healthy coping strategies and techniques and tips how to support these kids and these individuals. So before going ahead, we will just touch base with what is this condition, what is this disease. This is a condition when a child cannot speak in certain settings. As I said earlier, that a child can easily speak with siblings, with brothers and sisters, with parents, but at the same time, the child is reluctant to speak when he's at school or in certain situations. So this is the situation where a child may not be able to speak at school, but he can speak with no problem at home. Might be he's reluctant to speak outside in the market or with social settings, but at the same time, the child is easily speaking to his friends. So it is called selective mutism, where the child is only mute in certain situations, in specific situations, and it's a rare childhood condition. It's not commonly occurring, but when we can see the signs and symptoms easily in children when they are struggling with this condition, and prognosis is really good. We can support these kids, and we can early detect the symptoms, and we can after early detection and after early diagnosis, we can easily help them to cope with this condition fully. So this is a severe anxiety disorder in children where they may not be able to speak or they become mute. They just zip themselves in certain situations, for example, at school or public places. And children, they are able to speak at other places where they feel comfortable. For example, they can speak at home, they can speak with friends, they can speak with their close loved ones, but they are mute at outside the home. And we have seen many cases where children, they are talking at home, they are speaking to everyone, but outside they are reluctant or they are not at all speaking. One of the students that I've met in my past years, that he was totally mute in the school. He spent 4 years in the school, but he did not literally say a single word. So that was a classic example of selective mutism. Children with selective mutism are not being mute on purpose. This is really important to understand, that what is the causal factor, what is happening, why they are not speaking, and why they are not communicating in these certain situations. So it's important to know that they are not doing this on purpose. They are not trying to control a situation by being mute. They're not speaking in a way that protect themselves. Rather, what they are doing, they are not speaking just to protect themselves or just to protect themselves from severe anxiety. This is kind of a defense mechanism where they are mute and they are not ready to speak because they are feeling extreme anxiety. And sometimes children, guys, they are unable to express that they are feeling anxious. So what they do as a result, they become quiet, they become mute. So this also is one of the examples of selective. What are the signs of selective mutism? How we can detect this condition? So this is really important to know. Whenever we see these signs and symptoms, we must be aware that this is a selective mutism, and we need to find out the solution right there, and we need to early detect this. So I'm going to share with you a lot of strategies how we can support these kids. So guys, what are the signs? The first sign and symptom is failure to speak in specific social situations. These children or these individuals, they fail to speak in specific situations. They may avoid eye contact, they have poor eye contact, and they may appear nervous, uneasy, or socially awkward. Sometimes these individuals having this condition, they don't feel comfortable, and sometimes they tend to be more rude or disinterested. And we perceive that, oh, the kid is really rude, but the situation is the kid is not rude because he wants to be rude. Actually, the kid is suffering with anxiety, he's suffering with a lot of nervousness, and as a result he is just pretending to be rude. And sometimes they become clingy, shy, withdrawn. They try to avoid situations, and they try to escape from that instead of facing those situations. And sometimes they become stiff and they become tense or poorly coordinated. So these are major presenting complaints or major symptoms of individuals suffering with this condition. And guys, sometimes you can notice that these kids are stubborn or they tend to be aggressive, and they have temper tantrums when they get home from school, and especially when parents, they start asking questions. How was the school? How did you do your work? And how was the teacher with you? How did you interact with your friends? So these kids having selective mutism or having anxiety at this condition, what they do, they start getting irritated by the questions. They don't feel good that someone is asking questions for them. So they become angry when you ask any question about school. This is a clear sign that there is something wrong, and this is the red flag. And when we see any red flag or when we see any symptom, the child is suffering with a psychological condition, definitely we need to reach out for help. We need to reach out to the therapist or psychologist to get diagnosis and to get the best treatment. So after knowing about the symptoms, we should be really aware, being parents and being caregivers, this is the most important step for us, that we have to get more and more awareness about the child's psychological condition and child's mental health and well-being. Being a psychologist and being ambassador of well-being and mental health, I always focus, guys, always remember there is no health without mental health. And this is such an important topic that we need to get more and more awareness, how we can deal with that, how we can cope with this condition. And we have to be very much open when we talk about mental health. It's not a taboo, it's a very much important topic, and we have to help each other. So that's why I love doing a lot of trainings on different topics where we spread awareness about mental health. So that's why I was really glad that today I'm going to talk about this topic. So guys, then as we've discussed, that this selective mutism is a condition of anxiety where child struggles with extreme anxiety, and then he starts avoiding the situations by staying quiet or by staying mute. So how to, if I ask you a question, how do you react to anxiety? Or do you freeze when you feel anxious? Or do you look for help? Do you try to avoid whatever makes you anxious? Of course, each of us process anxiety slightly different. We all behave in a different way when we struggle with anxiety. So when we talk about children having selective mutism, it's a complex and uncontrollable reaction to anxiety. So here, children, they can talk perfectly well when they feel relaxed or they feel secure, but they can be mute when they are stressed out. So, whenever you see any child struggling with communication in front of public, struggling with speech in front of public, that cannot be any other fake response. That can be stress and anxiety. That has to be seriously taken care of. So, that is my request. Please, wherever you see any child struggling with this condition, please reach out for help. Try to help that child cope with that situation, and then later on consult a therapist, consult a psychologist for further support. And with selective mutism, your child isn't refusing to speak. Always remember, guys, sometimes being parent, we start thinking, oh, my child is manipulative, my child is manipulating the situation and he is refusing to speak, this is disrespectful behavior. And we totally ignore the fact, and we totally do not focus on the fact that maybe my child is struggling with anxiety. Maybe my child is struggling with stress. That is why my child is not answering back. That is why my child is refusing to speak. So we have to be really open about the mental health and well-being and the condition of the child, like what the child is feeling at that time. That is really important. And then this is important to know that the child is genuinely unable to speak. He or she is not making up. He or she is not manipulating the situation. They are genuinely struggling with conditions, and they are feeling anxiety and they are feeling stressful, strain and pressure. That is why, as a result, they are not speaking to anyone. And I want to share with you that how much painful the conditions can be for these children in our everyday routine activities. So everyday routine activities and unpleasant experiences. When we will explore this more, how drastically this condition can be painful and unpleasant for these kids. Definitely, we will take this serious, and we will take the child to the consultant or to the therapist for help and support. As I told you earlier, that this is quite manageable condition. The prognosis of treatment is very good. We just need early detection. We just need early identification and diagnosis. So for that, we have to be fully aware of what are the signs, how they are struggling with, so that we can support them. So when we talk about everyday routine activities, guys, it can be a highly unpleasant experience for most of the children. Imagine, for example, not even being able to ask to go to the bathroom when they need to go. Out of shyness or out of this anxiety, kids, they become mute and they do not ask to go to bathroom even. So this can be a highly unpleasant and painful experience for them. And then your child might be too afraid to ask permission to go to the bathroom. So this is the case. The child is not being disrespectful. Actually, the child is reluctant because he's afraid to ask permission. And sometimes she might stop eating and drinking in school to avoid an accident. Like we can easily see that few students, they don't eat their lunch box, they don't eat their lunch, and their lunch boxes go home as it is. Why? Maybe they are afraid of eating and drinking so that they can avoid any accident, and they are afraid of going to bathrooms. So she might struggle with her homework, maybe because she's unable to ask questions and clear doubts. There are many situations when in the classroom child is unable to ask questions, and as a result child does not perform well in the class and also cannot perform well for the homeworks. So we if we explore it and if we just probe it more, we can get to the real cause of that behavior. So this situation where the child is struggling to ask questions, this can be terrifying for the child because it means she will be noticed by the teacher and expected to talk. Like sometimes fear of talking can also be a big fear for these kids. Like they can be terrified of, oh my god, no, I have not done my homework, no, my teacher is going to ask me, and then I'll have to talk to my teacher in front of my whole class. That also can be a fearful situation for the child because you never know what is the intensity of that severity of that anxiety the child is struggling with. And many children with selective mutism, they also have other fears and social anxieties because selective mutism is the result of anxiety. That can be a fear because of anything that child has developed and now he's unable to speak. It's not that he don't want to speak. Maybe he wants to speak, but he's unable to do so. So the child may be having other fears and anxieties, which may things like even worse. For example, must be maybe child is having anxiety of standing in front of people, talking in front of people, appearing in any situation. So there might be many other social anxieties that can make this situation even worse. So now we will discuss how we can support them, how we can help children and youth with selective mutism. And this is highly informative for parents and caregivers who are actually struggling with their kids, who are, and dealing with this situation. This is really much painful, guys. As a psychologist, I really want to acknowledge the pain. This is a very painful situation for parents also when they are having children or they're having one child or maybe more than one they who are struggling with this condition. This is really a very hard time. So you need to know more and more about this condition, and you need to know how to handle and how to support yourself and how to support your child. So how to support? The first thing is that anxiety is at the root of selective mutism. The first thing is to know why it's happening so that we can deal with this. So you know that the root cause is the child is anxious. The anxiety is the root cause of selective mutism. So when you will lower down the anxiety, when you will work on your child's anxieties, automatically you will see a better response and you will see a progress when your child will start communicating little bit and then gradually more in those certain situations where he was avoiding speaking at all and he was totally mute. So punishing, pressurizing your child, or making a child feel guilty won't help at all. Guys, punishments and negative pressures and negative reinforcements, even, these are not the solutions for any problem. Please, no punishments. We need to deal with the kids' problems through positive psychology, through positive reinforcements. So when we start punishing them and when we start doing any negative action to get a positive response, this is not possible. This won't help at all. So doing these things can even be harmful. It can make the situation even worse. So trying to force a child to speak can make a child even more anxious and can backfire, making the mutism even worse. Maybe that mutism will last for longer. So we don't want to do that. We have to deal with this through positive, helpful approaches, healthy coping strategies. On the other hand, anything you can do to reduce a child's anxiety can make it easier for them to speak in those situations that make them afraid. Helping children take small steps to facing their fears is one of the best ways to help a child overcome mutism. When you know that this is happening because of anxiety, and when you will work on their, as I said earlier, you will work on lowering down their anxieties and making them face their fears step by step. This will help them to overcome mutism. And we will discuss so many strategies how you can help your child to work on the anxieties and to help them lower down the anxieties. So guys, the first thing is get early help. This is the most important thing. As soon as you've noticed some signs and symptoms, now you are fully aware that these are the signs and these are the symptoms. If my child is not speaking in certain situations and he is speaking in other situations, that means the child is struggling with selective mutism. So that means you have identified it. Now you need to consult a psychologist, you need to consult a therapist right there without wasting any single day. So please get help early. This is critical, most important. And then the longer, because remember, the longer the selective mutism lasts, the harder it is to treat, because the behaviors of children used to avoid speaking become reinforced, and the child will stay mute for longer and longer time because this behavior will be reinforced. So we need to actually help the child as early as possible to fix this, to remove this. This makes changing their behavior more difficult when they will be having reinforced mute behaviors. So, how to help the child? First thing is build on the bond, build a strong bond between you and your child. The bond and rapport and attachment and the strong positive relationship between parents and children is the first intervention and first treatment towards any psychological condition, any psychological disability. So please guys, always remember, children with selective mutism, they feel most secure when they are with their parents. So we need to have a strong positive bond between parents and children in order to deal with this condition. So when they are around their parents and they feel less secure around others. When they are around their parents, they feel more secure. And when they are around others, they feel less secure. So parents can play a very big role in this treatment. It's important to strengthen the build and on this attachment. You need to make a really strong bond. This will help children become more confident. And how you can make a strong bond? Guys, spend quality time with your child. I always talk to people whenever I talk about anxiety management, we talk about stress management, we talk about any of the childhood disorder. Guys, please remember, by spending quality time with your child without any gadget, without any screen, this is the first treatment. This is the first technique and healthy strategy that you are going to do. Now, how to spend time with your child in a positive way? Please sit with your child one-on-one, you and your child alone, talking about your child's interests, talking about what he or she wants to do with you. Try to set aside special time. It can be a reading corner, it can be a walk outside, and even this can be a 15 minutes of special time for your child each weekday. Like you can select one day, let's say Tuesday evening 6:30 to 7, me and you will sit together and we will discuss about our things, and we will play, or you can do this, you can play together, about you can play any game together. You need to see what interests your child more. So do that activity with your child that interests him more, so that he or she will love to sit with you one-on-one and can express their feelings. And this will make them more confident and less fearful. Make this special time longer on weekends or whenever possible. Like during weekdays, please, guys, take out 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes just for your child. Sit with them, leaving everything else behind and talking to your child about them, talking to your child about you. so that child can feel security and he can feel this is a safer place to express, and gradually the child will start opening up with you. And then guys, choose activities that promote conversation. For example, there are so many board games like carom board, ludo, monopoly, scrabble, throwing a ball around, baking crafts, Lego. There are so many games that you can, there are so many games and activities you can play with your child that will allow you guys to talk more about feelings and emotions. There are social skill board games available, and these social skills board games will allow you to talk about situations and how they can, what are the feelings attached with those situations. So there are so many activities that you can enjoy with your child. Video games are not the best choice for this time, guys. Please do something manually that you and your child are going to do together, and having talk time and eye contact, and please avoid anyone else between you and your child at that time. And then, guys, create a safe space for expressing feelings. If your child is angry or frustrated, this is okay to be frustrated sometimes. Please help your child name the feelings. Help your child to feel safe and secure while expressing that she's not feeling okay. Help your child to handle these feelings in a positive way, instead of hiding these feelings, running away. Oh no, no, it's not okay to cry. Sometimes we have to encourage them. If you want to cry, cry, because these are the emotions that have to be come out. Like, they have to let out, they have to express their emotions. So you don't have to share all of your child's feelings, but you can give them a space where they can express according to their choice. But you can acknowledge them, guys. You can say, I can see that something, is not going good, and that someone or something has, made you feel angry. Don't tell your child that what they're feeling is wrong. Please encourage them and acknowledge their feelings. You can say, I can understand that you are really disturbed. I can feel, but I want you to please acknowledge your feelings and give your child a chance to vent out. If they want to cry, they should cry with you. If they want to laugh, they want to express, they should get a proper time and space where they can talk to you and you can listen to him and support him or her. And then, guys, create a goodbye ritual. It's just an example. Like, create your own jargons where you can share some signs, like, clapping hand, or sharing a different kind of handshake when you guys are saying goodbye. So by making even goodbyes an interesting way of interacting with each other is the way where you are allowing your child to express themselves and not to feel anxious. So there are like so many activities practically you can do with your child to lower down their anxiety and to feel better, and then they will open up about their problems and their difficulties they are actually facing out there. And then, guys, if you want to support your child with this condition, number one thing that we have discussed earlier, reduce the anxiety by getting closer to them. And then, guys, helping your child to cope and to bring a change in behavior. We have to encourage to bring a change in behavior with positive, healthy strategies. No forceful, no pressurizing things, and no punishments. No forceful actions and activities should be involved in this change in behavior. And one step at one time, we can help kids by just following little baby steps. And the most important and vital role of therapists and psychologists, school, and parents. So these are the three pillars that are going to play a vital role in this situation. Therapists or psychologists, school, parents. One person or one pillar is not going to support. This is going to be a teamwork, and parents together with therapists, and then school. Together we have to make a plan, and together we have to go through that plan and start implementing that practically into the child's life. So, guys, these were like, just touch base and quick strategies. And for more support, more strategies, you guys can reach out and you can ask questions. If something comes up in your mind, and I'm really happy to answer those questions. And I really tried my best to make it like quick and effective and easy to understand. you very much. Exactly.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. What I liked really was the baby steps you mentioned. I like the fact that you emphasize that pushing a child doesn't make any difference. So thank you for the reminder. And also, I just love the fact that you gave some really small practical steps which we can do. There wasn't something big.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Meera, for appreciating and acknowledging. Trust me, we just need to follow small steps. And we don't need sometimes big theories and we don't need sometimes big strategies because we are not psychologists and therapists everywhere. But by just bringing up little bit positive approaches at home, little bit closeness and little bit less criticism, we can help our children. We just need to be close to each other and one on one. I always suggest my clients, please sit with your child one on one when you want to correct something or you want to discuss something, even not in front of their siblings, even not in front of anyone else, even not in front of your parents. This is between you and your child, and this is special. So respect their feelings, let them express these feelings one on one with you. And trust me, this is the first step towards treatment. And you will see a big difference by spending just quality time. And I'm not asking hours, 15 to 20 minutes initially. And then on weekends, if you can spend 1 hour, wow, amazing. You can play football, you can play badminton, anything, Ludo, carom board. It's therapeutic when we spend time with our kids.
Good evening, Dr. Bedkar sir, Principal sir, and good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentation you have made. And really, when we are talking about the reality, ground reality, the text, psychology text says so many things. But when we are talking about the ground reality, all these facts are very, very important. One has to learn. Spending time nowadays, it is becoming a very precious thing, giving time to the child because both the parents are busy somewhere and then they are the student. I mean, even the kid is also busy with some tuitions and coachings and something, and that is how you'll find that kind of communication is not there and the consultation is not there. So naturally you'll find this kind of gap is produced, and giving a time is also a kind of remedy for this kind of situations. What I want to say about this, many of the time it doesn't, we never give some negative motivations or negative things to the child. But many of the time it happens indirectly, the impact comes, like the parents are quarreling with each other in front of a child. And somehow, the child, that receive that aspects and carry that impression with him. Even the teachers in the classrooms, when they are having number of children, they ask, this kid to sit and the other kid, to get up and do this activity. Now the child started thinking why, they asked me to sit and why the other child has been promoted. So these small activities, the deeds, what I want to say, that creates a really great impact. I'm from the medical field, and many of the times, I'm dealing with the children. I'm very friendly with the children, and they are, they likes my OPD. The reason is, I try to communicate and talk to them. And when I try to learn the situation about their family members or the school and other aspect, try to reveal from them, and they are very innocent, somehow they can come with the, even they can talk about this. So going to their level is very important. So what do you think that all these indirect impacts, not directed towards them, but that may produce this kind of anxieties and the further sequelae is, what you said, selective mutism. So what do you think about this? Thank you. Thank you very much. Otherwise, your presentation was excellent. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
No, I'm really glad that you pointed out this aspect, and trust me, you are 100% right. These extraneous variables, these are very strong social factors causing anxieties and causing mutism in children. Definitely, being parents, we have to be mindful that what we are showing to the child, how our child is going to respond in stressful situation, is going to be same that how we are going to respond in front of our children. If we are quarreling in front of children, and we are blaming each other, and we are criticizing people, even I always encourage my clients and my friends, please never ever criticize other people in front of your children, because you're promoting a negative environment in your home, and you're promoting the negativities in your child, and you're actually instilling the hate in your children. So please be mindful, stay positive in front of them. If you have conflicts and you have problems, please solve them alone without your children, and this is going to benefit the whole family. And when you talk about schools, definitely our teachers, and I've been doing a lot of trainings for teachers, how they can handle difficult behaviors in the classes. So when you say that when teacher is saying to one child, you sit down, and not giving the reason, being teachers, we have to give proper reason to the child. Okay, you are finished now, I want you to sit down, so that other kids can speak up, or so that we can give chance to others also to do same. So when we give little reasons to the children, trust me, we are satisfying their inner conflicts, and we are satisfying their questions. And there are so many questions they are unable to speak, but they are there in their little minds. So we have to be really mindful. And I have seen teachers having a lot of pressure of covering up the course, they have a lot of pressure of inspections. So we have to continuously counsel the teachers and train the teachers with little scenario based situations. So if you have this situation, how you can cope with that. So I have a very strong belief on one quote, and this is a universal quote, that nearness distracts disruption. Nearness distracts disruption. When you will be closer to the child who is disrupting, this will actually distract their disruption. So when you see a child is feeling anxious or showing behavioral issue, you have to make that child closer to you, not to send away from you. When you will have that child closer to you, you will actually successfully satisfy that behavior, and that child will not show that aggressive behavior. So whenever possibly we can do that, we have to make those kids closer to us who are struggling with any behavior issue. That can be mutism, or that can be more talkative behaviors. So both for talkative behaviors, for aggressive behaviors, and for mutism, we have to bring the child closer to us, very close to us, so that we can pay attention, we can feel them, we can listen to them. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wonderful explanation you had given, ma'am. What I'd seen, the teacher should understand, identify such a children, that is very important, because in a routine, we may forget to identify, and we keep doing our job. So I think that is very essential to identify such a kind of children. And yeah, definitely, the parents also accept, and the teacher also accept, many of the times the nature of the child is like this only. So he keeps quiet only. He's a shy boy only, or she's a shy girl only. So they accept the fact, in fact, and they leave that part. Today morning only, OPD, one of the boy came, and he was not giving any answer to my question, and the mother and father were insisting, his nature is like this. He will not speak in front of you. He will do like this. But why, we are again stamping it on his brain, because the children mind is such a soft mind. It carries that impression very deep and for a very long time. So I think one has to be very careful, when we are talking like this. Even the teachers, we are having impressions in our mind in the classroom. This boy ABCD is like this, and XYZ is like this. So we should not carry any kind of bias, and I think we should go too close to that child and learn more about that child. If he's going little away, deviation is there. Yeah, definitely we have to take that boy near to us and give a more love, compassion, and I think the child will be in the track. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. You're very right. This is the only solution. Yeah. And remember, that is the behavior that is bad. The child is not bad. Sometimes we start labeling the children, oh, he's being naughty or he's bad. So we have to be mindful about what statements we are using for that child, because he's going to take that statement forever. So we never have to say anything about the child. The behavior is the one that we need to discuss. That action was bad. but you are a very good person. As a person and behavior, these are two different things. And sometimes we start mingling that up. You are very bad boy, you are naughty boy. So we have to see what attributes we are assigning to that child. It's really important for parents and for, teachers.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Actually, it's an amazing thing that all the talkative people are discussing on the mutism. Yeah. Yeah. My question is related with the two different terms, one can say. I don't know whether they are the different or not. The clarification is on behalf of you. Whether the introvertness and the mutism are the same terms or the two different things or interlinked with each other. One part. Generally, in order to withdraw this mutism, I personally think that freedom to commit mistakes in the classroom will raise the confidence of the students. Generally, they have fear or phobia to commit mistakes, and that's why they keep mum, they keep mute. That's why liberty to commit mistakes there in the classroom, it raises the confidence of the children. The question is that is introvertness and the mutism, whether they are the different terms or they are interlinked with each other. Please tell, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. Brother, you raised a very interesting question, and I'm really glad that you did that so that I can, explain it a bit more to elaborate the actual condition. Introvert is a trait of nature that they are not ready to express more, and they're not socially more expressive or socially more interactive or taking initiatives. But they tend to wait for other to initiate or to interact with them. Then they start interacting according to their own style. So introvert is a nature of personality or nature of trait, and mutism is because of the anxiety. Mutism is a condition they opt on themselves. It's not genetically with them, it's not with them by birth. It's actually because of certain situation, because of any past experience, or because of any association, negative association, they have opted mutism, and they have opted to stay quiet in these conditions. For example, there was a child, she was very good in music. At home, she was singing and she was dancing and all. But in the classroom, in the school, during the music class, that girl used to be mute. That girl used to not to interact with anyone, not interact with teacher. So when we probed it down and when we actually explored and we get closer to the child, we get to know that she has got a very hard experience and a very kind of a rude and negative experience with the teacher in that class. So she started becoming fearful and afraid of saying anything and afraid of communicating to in that class. So introvert is a nature that can be, we can treat with that. We can overcome this by giving right appropriate chances to the child to express. But mutism is a situation where we need to work on their anxieties. We need to explore what situations are there where they do not prefer to speak. That means there is something associated with that situation. So by lowering down the anxiety, by fixing the anxiety, we can give them more confidence and they can start speaking. So we can take baby steps, and by gradually, one by one, you will see a progress by making them express to you. And definitely in the classroom, when we have interactive environment and when we have the liberty to speak about our rights, and when children, it's okay to feel not okay, it's okay to commit mistakes. And as I said earlier, these are the behaviors which are wrong. These are not the kids are wrong. So sometimes teachers, out of pressure, they start saying in front of the whole class, oh, he's the bad boy, he's a naughty boy, he did all that. So we do not have to blame and label everything on the child. We need to probe the situation. What was the triggers? What was the trigger? Why that child started saying bad words or saying those showing those behaviors and committing those mistakes. So interactive classroom where we give freedom to everyone to speak about their right, to speak about their situation, is the only way we will allow them to accept it and commit a change, and we will see a positive change in their behaviors. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I personally think that committing mistake is their right of the children. They're in the
True,
class.
see, trial and error is there, and they explore things, and out of curiosity, sometimes they commit mistakes, and we are human beings, and we can do that. But we have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to teach our kids, it's okay, you have done mistake, now learn what is the takeaway, what did you learn from that mistake. In this way, you will see that they are correcting themselves and they are not committing that mistake again. But we have to encourage them through positive reinforcement and no punishments and no punitive matters. We could not use punishment as a measure to control behavior.
Exactly, ma'am. Means when someone commit mistakes, we may encourage him, because committing mistake is an indication of their activation. They are doing something. That's why they are committing mistakes.
Yeah, their intellect, they are curious and they want to try, and committing mistake means first step, accept that was your mistake, and now find out the takeaways, find out the learning steps, and then moving on, you know that what you don't have to do, you know what you have learned, how are you going to do. So we can divert their thinking pattern into a positive way by discussing that mistake with them instead of punishing them or not talking to them. A one-on-one teacher and child, we have to sit and we have to discuss what was the situation, what happened, why happened, and okay, what is the key point now, what did you learn from that. So it's like, it's okay to commit mistakes, let's learn from our mistakes together.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Dr. Bedkar, sir. I'm feeling very happy here because this is very important topic. I am working with ZP school children last 24 years. And my experience is I taught 1 to 10 class. And I know the diversity in the classroom. I think playground is such a place that the children unmute themselves. They speak a lot of. This is the opportunity for teachers. Let them play on the playground. But my question is, what is the medicinal support for such mutism children?
Medicines, you're talking about
medicinal support.
Okay, yeah. So, yes, brother, definitely we need to see the severity of this condition. If this condition is too severe and child is actually struggling with panic attacks because of anxiety, because of the fear, if it's too intense, and I said earlier that we need to identify and we need to seek help. Seeking help, going to the consultant, going to the therapist, and getting the right diagnosis. So when we diagnose this properly and we get to see what is the level of severity, is it a mild, moderate, or severe? Depending upon that, we can prescribe medications through psychiatrists. So psychiatrists are there to prescribe medications for this condition, and anti-anxiety medications we can start, but it all depends upon the situation of the child, and it all depends upon the coping strategies the family and the child both are willing to opt. Because and for anxiety, we as psychologists, we always encourage to deal with healthy coping strategies, deal with natural ways of coping with that. But if it's like at severe level, child is getting panic attacks, nauseatic symptoms, vomitings, sometimes they get diarrhea due to fear, extreme fear. Yeah, those are the conditions we need to lower down the fear and anxiety through medications. So it all depends upon what is the severity level and what is the condition of that child.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My another question is, when children outside the classroom, they talk too much. But when they come in front of the teacher, they just stop their speaking with the teacher. I think support and trust, those 2 points are very useful in the classroom. So some children are shy and they don't want to speak with the teacher and other, and some children feel low confidence. So what are the strategies to boost their confidence?
Exactly, you're right. I was just about to say this. You took my words away. When children are with their friends, they're more confident. They are more safe and secure. They feel like to express anything. And when they're in the classrooms, there are so many factors involved. First factor, if the teacher is a bit of strict teacher and not allowing, she's not allowing students to express themselves. That is the point when they start becoming reluctant and they start becoming mute in the class, or they will not show what they want to do, and they will not even initiate in any of the class activities. So we have to cultivate a kind of interactive kind of environment where we give opportunity and we give chance to everyone to speak out, and we have to encourage sharing their opinions. If they are because most of the time they have social phobia, that if I'll say something wrong, my teacher will snub me, and they feel embarrassed. And for children, their self-esteem, their self-confidence, all is based on their, how we're going to treat with them, what kind of respect we are giving to them. Even their kids, we have to give them respect of sharing their feelings, respect of sharing their expressions. Most of the time when teachers like, don't do this because I'm saying so, this is not the right way of dealing with kids. We have to tell them, don't do this because this has XYZ reasons. We have to give them reasons of stopping from certain activities. So we have to be more interactive with them. I understand it's a difficult thing for teachers to answer back or to interact with everyone. But if quickly we can just tell them, can you just do this, or we can divert their mind into a positive activity. We can also engage them in different. We can give them different responsibility. We can engage them in different positive activities instead of snubbing them down and just saying them quiet and just sit down. We can tell them, okay, let's start the lesson. These are the steps. Like, our classroom lessons should be very much interesting, engaging, and friendly, where they feel secure and safe and they know we can express ourselves. So then that will be the point where they'll be like more confident and they will learn more, because kids who are asking more questions, they are more intellectually active and intellectually higher. So we need to just give that space and that respect to kids, that they can speak when they want. They can talk to us by certain manners. We can share, and we have to actually revise the rules of the class. Raise your hand and talk, say excuse me and talk. But we cannot say you can never talk or you don't talk. If they want to say something, we have to give them the chance to say, and then we can explain them later that, okay, I will talk to you after or during the class.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So you want me to speak in Hindi now? Yes, sure. Sure. Thank you very much. No, I can speak Hindi, and मैं बहुत सारी trainings हिंदी में भी देती हूँ यहाँ पे. बहुत सारे हमारे जो clients हैं वो हिंदी में बात करते हैं या उर्दू में बात करते हैं, तो हम उनको ज़्यादा बेहतर तरीके से explain करने के लिए definitely उनके accordingly हम language change करते हैं. So selective mutism का, as मैंने पहले बोला, कि सबसे important चीज़ है हम understand करें कि ये anxiety है बच्चे के अंदर. बच्चा परेशान है, बच्चा वरीड है, या वो डर गया है, किसी भी चीज़ से वो डर चुका है और हमें उसकी एंजाइटी को लो डाउन करना है, हमने उसकी इस फियर को लो डाउन करना है। जब ये फियर कम हो जाएगा तो आप वन बाय स्टेप आप देखोगे कि बच्चे के बिहेवियर में, डिफरेंट रिस्पॉन्सेज में चेंज आ गया है। सो हम बहुत बड़े बड़े गोल सेट नहीं करेंगे, हम छोटे छोटे गोल सेट करेंगे और हम सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात, एक क्लोज बॉन्ड बनाएंगे बच्चे के साथ, पेरेंट्स हैं या टीचर्स हैं। जब हमारा बच्चे के साथ एक क्लोज रेपो होता है, बॉन्ड होता है, तो हम प्रॉब्लम्स को बेहतर तरीके से सॉल्व कर पाते हैं। जैसे मैंने बोला कि यूनिवर्सल रूल है कि नियरनेस डिस्ट्रैक्ट्स डिस्ट्रप्शन। जितना क्लोज होते हैं हम बच्चे के, उतना उसकी डिस्ट्रप्शन, उसका मिसबिहेवियर कम होता चला जाता है। और जितना हम बच्चे को दूर करते चले जाते हैं खुद से, उतना उस बच्चे की फ्रस्ट्रेशन, एंजाइटी और बिहेवियर्स ज़्यादा ख़राब होते चले जाते हैं। सो ये बहुत एक सिंपल जेन्युइन सा रूल है। इसके हमें समटाइम्स बहुत बड़ी बड़ी टेक्निक्स नहीं यूज़ करनी, सिंपल एवरीडे लाइफ में हमने देखना है कि हमने बच्चों को सूद कैसे करना है, उनके कॉन्फिडेंस पे काम कैसे करना है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। जी जी, या exactly. Everyone. This is related with everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Bedkar. I'm really glad and honored to be here to talk about this, because this is such an important topic and everyday condition. हमारे घरों में everyday ये situations हो रही हैं और हम sometimes ignore कर देते हैं। हमें समझ नहीं आती हमारा बच्चा कुछ situations में बोलता है, कुछ में बोलता ही नहीं है। So it's really much important to डिस्कस दिस एंड टू स्प्रेड अवेयरनेस कि क्या रीजंस हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये, रीच आउट करें। आपको मैंने जैसे मेरी डिटेल्स भी मैंने शेयर की थी, जरा सी भी कोई बात होती है, कंसल्ट द थेरेपिस्ट, कंसल्ट द राइट पर्सन, क्योंकि हमें डिले नहीं करना। वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई, वी हैव टू स्टार्ट ट्रीटिंग एंड वी हैव टू स्टार्ट सपोर्टिंग देयर एंड देन. This will protect the child not to go too longer for this condition and to fix this as early as possible, inshallah. Thank you very much, and I'm always ready, and I'm glad to be the part of your awareness campaign. This is a very big thing, mashallah. I will definitely, it's much appreciated that you guys are giving opportunity to different people to talk about different mental health and well-being and other wellness topics. It's an amazing thing. It's a very big deed, and well done, and I really much appreciate this. Thank you very much. Definitely. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.